Now, Isaiah Sharp with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Like I mentioned earlier, pretty impressive what a 24-hour period can do when it comes to your forecast. Yesterday, highs into the mid-80s for some parts of Idaho, almost getting into the 90 range. 85 the highest we saw in Boise. The record was 90 degrees set in 2015, so a 10-year difference, but still warm conditions sticking around on October 10th. The 11th, though, it's a bit of a different story. We've got cooler air moving on in, and this almost hair dryer effect that we were seeing where a lot of warm air was blowing on in is now making its way to the west, but I want to highlight it a little bit more because take a look at some of the high temperatures. So the warmest that we saw was 59 in Boise. The warmest in Twin Falls that we saw was 61 today. It looks like that, right? These are the high temperatures that we've seen since midnight. And normally when I show my forecast, these are indicators of just how warm it was for the day. But what we've seen since midnight was at 2 a.m., it was 59 degrees. At 1 a.m., it was 61 degrees down in the Twin Falls region. That just shows you how warm it was today. We were actually into the 50s for the Twin Falls area. And yes, the warmest we did see today was 59 degrees, but that was at around 4 o'clock today, and we also saw 59 at 2 in the morning in the Treasure Valley. So a really impressive system, something that we normally don't see this time of year passed on through. Just wanted to highlight that. Going into tomorrow, cool conditions are going to be across the board. The high temperatures since midnight are going to make a little bit more sense when it comes to the temperature ranges, and we've got cool weather moving on in with precipitation, and this time of year it gets cold enough into those higher elevations that snow is a part of the forecast. Very cool weather expected to continue on for the rest of this week. We have a low pressure system dipping on in over the Oregon area, and we'll actually see a splitting off that's going to happen here, and then another system going to start to develop as it starts to move to the south. It's going to bring on in some precipitation and a fair bit of rain on the way for Wednesday, and that means chances of snow for some parts of Idaho. Take a look just to the north of McCall. 8 inches expected for them. The Stanley region getting 9 inches, over half a foot expected for the Ketchum area. Impressive to see these snowfall numbers this early on. Good news for skiers and snowboarders, which is what I like to see. But man, cool temperatures and precipitation on the way. Going to bring in some snow. Temperatures sitting into the 50s. Light chances of rain on the way for the Treasure Valley area. Nice cool nights expected falling into those 40s. Temperatures going to be sitting into the 50s for the Twin Falls region too. Temperatures falling into the 30s when it comes to your overnight lows, and the cool weather, like I mentioned, is just going to rain on in for the rest of this week. We will see 60s to start out the work week, but then chances of rain starting to increase through the middle of the week, and then temperatures sitting into those 50s across the board as we go into our next weekend. Treasure Valley going to see pretty similar conditions. 60s on the way for your Monday and Tuesday. Those chances of rain increasing through the middle of the week. We'll have a fair bit of cloud coverage on top of that too, and then consistent 50s after that. We might reach up into the 60s going into next weekend, but man, that fall weather is taking hold.